Well, let's bring in Mike Freeman. Does a great job covering the NFL over at Bleacher Report. Mike joins me here on the show. Let's start with Jared Goff, Mike. New coach out there in L.A., somebody not wed to Jared Goff, wasn't part of the group that drafted him. What kind of pressure, if any, is on Jared Goff this year?
Well, there's a little bit. He has to – I mean, it's obvious, as you said, he has to do well. There's a lot of people watching him and think that this is the year where not only could he sort of turn the corner, but he sort of has to. That team has some talent. I mean, it's not great talent, but they got a good running back. They got some good pieces on defense. Their offensive line isn't great, but they need to show that he can do something and grow and at least take a step towards proving he's a guy. And this is the year that he needs to do that. And if he can do that, I've said this a little bit in the offseason, that team is, I mean, it's not going to win a lot, but there's potential there to do to win some games in a couple of years if he turns out to be good, because there's some pieces there. But this is, this, Chris, like every team, it's all about the QB. And if you have a bad QB or a quarterback that's just not growing, it stifles your entire franchise. And this is where the Rams are right now.
All right, Mike, I want to give you my screaming hot take of the day. You got to get ready for this. Tom Brady.
Okay.
Tom Brady.
Are you going to scream, though?
I will not scream. I will speak at the even-keeled level. Tom Brady is competing for his job this season. Your thoughts?
Are you nuts? Are you nuts?
Come on.
Did you have coffee this morning?
I did.
Are you okay?
I'm good. I had a large Dunkin' iced. I'm good to go.
Are you having a stroke?
No, I'm not having a stroke. Come on, Mike. What other reason is there?
No.
What
no.
other? Okay. Come on,
Chris. I love you. No. Tom Brady is never fighting for his job. Ever. Never. He will be able to stay at quarterback as long as he physically can. And, I've had personnel people across the league tell me they think this is the year that age will catch up to him. But people have been saying that for like 5 years. Every year he looks like he's 25 years old. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Okay,
Well, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is there. Belichick is a very practical guy, Chris. He knows how football works. The chances are Tom Brady has another good 2-3 years at least in him, but Belichick knows that football is violent and it ages people fast. So he's being practical. He's keeping a good quarterback on the right. We just talked about Goff and the other situations around the league, how hard it is to find a good quarterback. Well, the Patriots have one. They've seen him in action, in practice, in games. They like him. They like the way he studies. They like him a lot personally. So you keep a guy like that just because you can, and you can prepare just in case something crazy happens with Brady. And if it doesn't, maybe you trade him at a later date, or you do. But you keep that insurance policy. So Belichick, more than anything, is he's a very practical guy, and that's why he's there. But Chris, come on, more coffee, man.
Hold on. Look, let me continue to make my case here, Mike. You say,
all right, go ahead.
You say that he's being practical, and look, I get that. Even though Brady's been hurt like once in his career, one of the most durable guys playing that position. Belichick also likes future assets. He likes draft picks, and you would know what the market was better than I, but it seems like it was at least the 12th overall pick that they could have fetched for Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe more in a potential trade. Why hold on to him when that's the market for him? When you can just move Jacoby Brissett up, maybe draft somebody else? I'm a huge Deshaun Watson guy. You want to have a backup quarterback in place, draft Deshaun Watson and let him sit there for a couple of years and wait and see if Brady gets hold. Why waste an asset like that when maybe next offseason, even if you franchise him, the market might not be as robust?
Look, that's a fair point, and there are teams that would have done that. They would have made that trade and got picks. I think the difference with Belichick is And I think really good franchises think this way. They obsess over that position. Every franchise does, but if you're Bill Belichick and he knows that he can win. He's confident he can win without Tom Brady. But boy, does Tom Brady make it a lot easier, and so does a franchise thrower. So if you've got a guy that you know is good, and you've seen him and you worked with him, you're not going to get rid of that asset easily unless someone just throws a lot at you and makes it so hard for you to not keep him. So he's going to keep Garoppolo because he knows this just a guy like that is so hard to find. Look around the league. It's crazy. There's like 10 teams whose starting quarterbacks are awful, whose whole roster of quarterbacks are awful. And you have a guy who you trust, and they trust him and like him, so they're not going to let him go very easily.
All right, before I let you go, are the Ravens going to toss up a Twitter poll and ask fans if they should sign Colin Kaepernick?
A Facebook poll. It's crazy.
Snapchat, maybe. Whatever the kids are doing.
It's crazy. I'll just say this. I know we got to go. I'll just say this. Colin Kaepernick, whatever. There are a lot of people who have different opinions about him as a player and opinions about him off the field. To me, I've said this before, what he's doing off the field is heroic and brave and important. And on the field, he is still a really good player. That's my opinion. I've seen him play. We're talking about the Patriots. I covered a game, I think it was last season, where he played Belichick defense with almost nothing around him and kept them in the game almost single-handedly, Kaepernick did. So I've seen him perform at a high level. He still can. And the Ravens don't sign him. They're fools. They're fools. He's a perfect place. That's a perfect place for him. And they're thinking about it, but I don't know if they're going to do it because the owner sounds like he's, like we just talked about, he's doing like Snapchat polls. So when you're starting to do that stuff, you don't sound like you're serious in doing it. But if they do sign him, it will be one of the smartest signings of the offseason because they need him. Their backup, Brian Mallett, is trash. Their backup situation is garbage. And you bring in a Kaepernick, you have a really good backup and someone that can, in some ways, be even better than the starter. So it's a smart move if they do it. I don't know if they're going to do it, though.
Saying that Kaepernick has been blackballed implies a collective conversation amongst NFL owners about this. Do you believe that there's been that type of collective conversation where people have said, you know, that this guy did what he did and we're not going to welcome him back?
Well, I don't think first of all, I do think he's being blackballed, but also, Chris, the owners, and they're smarter than that. They wouldn't necessarily like send out a note or talk about it. They know that would be collusion. They know that would be really dumb. Not that there aren't dumb owners, there are, but I don't think they will go that far. I think there's just a collective sort of non-spoken belief that if we sign this guy, he's trouble. We don't like what he did. So there's a collective non-spoken belief we're just going to stay away from him. I don't think it's. I think owners have done this in the past with other issues, and it's not crazy. And I think that's what's happening here. But I think he's being blackballed by the league. I don't think there's any question about it to me.
Hey, always great to talk to you, Mike. I appreciate the time.
Chris, I want you to live long and prosper, baby.
It's Mike Freeman. Thank you, Mike.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.